Welcome to the Operatory podcast, the podcast about burying the dinosaurs in dentistry, moving past outdated technology and procedures to find a better way. I am your host, Dr. Bryan Laskin. Thank you for joining me today. I'm excited about our topic today, which is 7 easy things that you can do today to get more new patients tomorrow. A hugely important topic as there's so much change going on in dentistry right now. And I like to say that there's not a lot of problems happening in a dental practice that a steady stream of new patients can't fix, or at least bury. It's like having a bunch of positive reviews on your review platform. If you have one negative, it gets buried away. Same thing with having tons of new patients. If you have a patient have a negative experience, let's say they have a temp hygienist and they get a little irked and they go somewhere else, well, it's okay as long as you have some new patients coming in. Now, we talk a lot about the patient experience. I mean, making sure that we have a rock solid experience for people so that they don't want to leave. However, growing is always good. It's much easier to handle all the ups and downs in the average dental practice with a steady stream of new patients. So let's get into it. What are they? Number one is something that is near and dear to my heart that I think is the best new patient generator that we've had in decades, particularly from the perspective of what I think is the best type of new patient, and that is internal referrals. Patients in your office that have a positive experience go out to the home or to work and they're walking around planet Earth and they see somebody else and that person says, I'm looking for a new dentist. And you want your patients obviously to enthusiastically recommend your practice. That's obviously the best way, because once there's that warm handoff, if somebody says, boy, Dr. Johnson fixed my teeth and it was an amazing experience, that patient coming in is going to be already kind of pre-sold. If they do have work to be done, they're going to be more likely to be convinced that you're the place to do it, right? Which is obviously what we're looking to do. We're trying to convert people into doing what's in their own best interest by elevating their oral health. And they've got to be comfortable with us. So getting those internal referrals is absolutely huge. And I believe the best way to do that is through therapeutic virtual reality like Opera VR. It's something completely different, literally transforms the patient experience by taking their awareness out of the dental operatory somewhere like the beach, or they're going around the world. Right now they're touring Paris, and it completely melts away anxiety. It works as effective in most cases as nitrous oxide, but without the use of drugs. And, what really transforms somebody's experience is when they're coming to your practice expecting something and you exceed those expectations. So if they come to your practice and they think that they're going to be looking at the ceiling like everywhere else, or maybe even looking at a TV like they did at the last dental practice, and there's going to be the sights, sound, smells of dentistry. And then when they come in, you transport them to the beach in Belize. Well, it's a great way to transform their experience. And when they go home, you can be very sure that they're going to be telling their friends and family about it. So number one, Opera VR, therapeutic virtual reality, as effective as nitrous oxide without the use of drugs, completely transforming the patient experience. And that is a great way to get new patients tomorrow. Easy to do. You plug it in. It's actually wireless, so you just put it on the patient's on their face. You go to the website, you pick the experience that the patient wants, and then you're good to go. All of these things, I'd like to say, aren't just easy. We're talking 15 minutes or less. So every one of these 7, you should be able to implement right away in one day. Take an hour. You could sign up and do all of these at once, or just focus on them. So number 1 is therapeutic virtual reality with Opera VR. Number 2, asking for referrals. This is a simple one, but it's like a lot of things, simple in theory, hard to execute. Every patient, every time, as long as you like the patient, just saying, we love seeing patients like you. You're one of my favorite patients. Even if there's one of 10,000 of them, you're one of my favorite patients. I would really appreciate if you would let your family and friends, if they know about your experience here. It goes such a long way. And I do think it's really nice to have it sort of keyed up who in the practice is going to be doing that. It does not need to be the dentist. It can be the hygienist, but really it's whoever feels that connection with the patient. And whenever a patient gives you a compliment or your practice a compliment, it should always be followed up with "you're welcome" and then asking for a referral. So when people compliment you, please don't say, "That's no big deal," because it is a big deal. You've probably done a lot of work to give the patient a good experience. Just say "you're welcome" and then ask for a referral every single time. So number 1 is therapeutic virtual reality with Opera VR. Number 2 is asking for a referral. And number 3 is your review platform. Making sure that you automate your reviews. It should just take a few minutes with a direct integration with Google and Facebook. Those are the big two. There's really, number 3 is such a far drop off that I would just focus on Google reviews and Facebook reviews. Just like I said at the top of this podcast, having a massive amount of positive reviews is what people are looking for. Last time you bought something from Amazon, you probably went on and you looked at 2 things. Number 1, the rating. But if the rating was followed by, it said 3 reviews, you might go, they're not really using, there's not a lot of people buying this, so I'm not so sure about it. But if there were 1,000 reviews and it's a 4.7, you're probably going, that's solid. So you don't need to have a 5.0 rating. A 4.8 with 150 reviews or 350 reviews is much better than a 5.0 with 2. So automate your reviews. We do that with an Opera DDS, obviously. And speaking of Opera DDS, number 4 is going paperless. Do not use a clipboard and pen. Today, you're just sending the wrong message. Think about your new patient. If they get their new patient forms sent to them on their phone and they look clean and beautiful and modern with your logo, and people can fill that out on their phone and sign it, it just represents your practice as modern and clean, and that's what people are looking for. And so that's the kind of experience that they'll tell other people about, right? They'll say, my gosh, I just left this one dental practice where I think when I went in there, every time they would slide over a 1950s clipboard with a big metal thing. And this time I got one click of a button. I got to fill out all of my new patient forms, even send in photos and videos like we do with Opera DDS. Transforms the patient experience. Again, you're exceeding their expectations. So number 5, same day dentistry. I've talked about it before on this podcast, but it's one of the biggest practice builders. I believe you can catch people that may otherwise have put things off. And it goes back to therapeutic virtual reality, which is really transforming the patient experience, reducing anxiety. A huge anxiety builder is if you tell somebody they need to have a procedure they've never had done before and then say, well, we can get this done in 3 weeks. Go home and think about it and let it stew. And then they talk to their friends and they talked to Judy, and Judy had the horrible experience with a crown. She had to go back 12 times, needed a root canal. Obviously, it might not be this patient's experience, but they're over 3 weeks that anxiety builds. And that's so if you can get the patient in and get it done the same time, again, this is about transforming patients' experience so that they go and they talk to their friends and you get those referrals, which are the highest value, not from dollar value, but just from people who are willing to go through and do what's best for them, for their best for their oral health. So same day dentistry also drives massive amounts of referrals. Now, and this next one is a very, very big one. Number 6, this is how you get in extremely high dollar cases. It's through virtual consultations. So allowing people to send photos to you directly from your website of their dental condition so that you can just give them an opinion, or somebody in your office can give them an opinion of what's going on. I'm talking about pre-diagnostically. This is not taking radiographs and doing a whole treatment plan, but having a way for people on your website to give you photos of what's going on in their mouth so that you can give them a quick indication of what they may be looking for. Here's what I mean. Most patients who haven't been to the dentist for 20 years, they probably have anxiety. They probably are stressed out about it. They're worried about being lectured, but they probably know that they have some dental needs. They can look in the mirror and they can see, hey, there's some teeth missing, right? So what does that patient want to do? Well, I can tell you what they don't want to do. They don't want to come in and talk to a dentist who they think is going to lecture them about what's going on in their mouth. So if we make it easy for people on your website to snap a few photos that we walk them through, and then you can have somebody from your practice reach out and say, oh, Joe, it's no big deal. We see people like you all of the time. It's very common, and I understand you probably are worried about what we're going to tell you. Here's what we'll do. We'll have you come in. There'll be no lectures. We'll just factually tell you what we see going on. We'll take some x-rays, and then we'll give you a bunch of options. And you can choose whatever you want, or you might choose to do nothing, and that's perfectly okay. We want to reassure people that it's okay for them to make the choice that's best for them. But of course, it's our job to tell them what's possible so that we can elevate their oral health, because that's really what we're looking for, right? If you're not looking to elevate people's oral health and you're in dentistry, I got news for you. You should probably go to a different profession, right? We are here to elevate people's oral health. And it's, I think people sometimes worry about diagnosing the patient's pocketbook or what their value system is. I'm not saying you should tell people to do things that aren't necessary for them. What I'm saying is just letting them know what's possible and then allowing them to choose. And the way we do that with people who have massive amounts of needs is by letting them take a very easy, safe first step by sending you photos or even video prior to coming in. So that's number 6. And the very last one is very similar to our virtual consults, but it's really leveraging teledentistry to triage emergencies, giving people the ability to get an instant response whenever they're out there Googling, right, to looking for a new dentist. They type in dentist near me because maybe they just moved to town and they chipped a tooth. And if they call around, right, well, we're busy. But if they go to your website, and instead of calling around, there's a little thing that pops up that says, would you like to send us a photo so that we can give you a quick idea of what you're in for, right? You click a button to start a virtual consult, send in a photo of the chipped tooth, and then you can have somebody from your practice reach back and say, oh, it looks like you had a cusp come off a tooth. So we can get you in. We have an appointment at 9:00. We can actually do, if a crown's appropriate, we could probably get it done for you that day, going back to number 5, same day dentistry. So I ran through them very quick. The 7 easy things that you can do today to get more new patients tomorrow. Number 1, Opera VR, therapeutic virtual reality. Number 2, reviews. Make sure that you have a review platform that directly integrates with Google and Facebook. Number 3, always asking for a referral, particularly when you get a compliment. You say, you're welcome. Do you know anybody else that's looking for a great dental home? Because we're looking for people like you, patients like you. Number 4, going paperless. So ditch the clipboard, get paperless forms. Number 5, focusing on same-day dentistry, getting the treatment done that same day that you diagnose it, whenever possible. Number 6, virtual consultations, so allowing new patients to send you photos and videos of their teeth so that you can give them an idea of what they're in for when they come in. Of course, not a full treatment plan, but just a general idea that you've seen people like them and that you have lots of options available. And then number 7, triaging emergencies, leveraging teledentistry. So for more information, all of these things, again, you can do within an hour. You can sign up for everything if you wanted to within an hour, or get a demo and start focusing on these things. To learn more about Opera VR, therapeutic virtual reality, go to digitalnitrous.com. And if you're looking for a powerful review platform for paperless forms and for any of the teledentistry features that I talked about, go to operadds.com. We have a recorded demo you can watch, or you can get a live demo, and pretty much everything that we have available right now, at least at the time of the recording of this podcast, you can try out absolutely free. So go to operadds.com and get yourself a demo. Thank you very much.